Kingdom Kids, happy Think About It Thursday. So this week we have been talking about all the events that led up to Easter Sunday. So yesterday we talked about the Last Supper and how Judas had gone to betray Jesus. Today we're going to cover the garden and the trial. I'm going to be reading to you from this children's Bible here, just the stories. But as we've been talking about these events, I just want to let you know that every day seems to have had something that happened. But you have to remember that time was different then than it is now. And I know that when I'm reading the story, I always think that this all happened like over a long period of time, but it didn't. It was really just matters of hours. So after the Last Supper, things happen very quickly. So I just want you to keep that in mind today and tomorrow as we're talking about the events that are coming up. Okay. So Jesus prays in the Garden of Gethsemane. Now, they had the Last Supper, and Jesus had decided that he needed to go and pray. And so he went to the Mount of Olives, and he took the disciples with him so that they could all pray together. And then when they got to the garden, Jesus went off by himself. And he took James, John, and Peter with him and told them to stay awake and keep watch. And Jesus went off to pray. So Jesus and his disciples went to Gethsemane. Jesus said, "Sit here while I pray." He took Peter, James, and John along with him. He got down on his knees and prayed, "Father, if you are willing to take this cup away from me, but do what you want, not what I want." An angel from heaven appeared to Jesus and gave him strength. So remember, we have our three disciples sitting here, and they're supposed to be waiting for Jesus, right? He got up from prayer and went back to the disciples, and he found them sleeping. "Why are you sleeping?" he asked. "Get up, pray that you won't fall into sin when you are tempted." Once more, Jesus went away and prayed the same thing, and then he came back. And again he found them sleeping. So he left them. For the third time he prayed. He returned to the disciples and said, "Are you still sleeping? Look, the hour is near. The Son of Man is about to be handed over to sinners. Get up, let's go. Here comes the one who is handing me over." So who do you think was coming? None other than Judas. Jesus had finished praying. He and his disciples went into a grove of olive trees. Now Judas knew the place. Jesus had often been in that place. So Judas came, guiding a group of soldiers. They were carrying torches and weapons. And Jesus asked them, "Who is it that you want?" "Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "I am he," Jesus said. Judas went to Jesus. He said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus asked him, "Judas, why are you handing over the Son of Man with a kiss?" Peter had a sword and pulled it out. He cut off a servant's right ear. Jesus commanded Peter, "Put away your sword," and he touched the man's ear and healed him. Then the soldiers arrested Jesus. They tied him up, and all the disciples left and ran away. So then, after they had arrested Jesus, they took Jesus to Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the high priest. And after the disciples fled, they left Jesus to be arrested. Peter kind of hung back, and he stayed. And he followed this group of soldiers and Jesus and Judas, and they followed him to Caiaphas's house. Now, Caiaphas was the high priest, and Caiaphas was the one that was kind of leading this brigade of people. And when they got there, Peter kind of hung back, and this is where Peter denies Jesus 3 times. So they're in there talking to Caiaphas, and they're trying to find people to testify against Jesus and things like that. And Caiaphas says, why aren't you defending yourself? Why aren't you saying something? And Jesus says, well, you've already said who I am. And Caiaphas goes, oh, well, that's blasphemy, because you're saying you're the Son of God and you're not the Son of God. And so they automatically go to crucify him. And then, but before they can do that, they have to go to see Pilate. Now, Pilate was the Roman governor at the time. And Pilate's wife was like, you know what, we're not going to mess with this. We don't want to touch this. So let's see what happens when Jesus goes to Pilate. Early in the morning, the priests and the elders and the whole Sanhedrin made a decision. They tied Jesus up, then they handed him over to Pilate. Are you the king of the Jews? Asked Pilate. Yes, it is just as you say, Jesus replied. It was the practice at the Passover festival to let one prisoner go free. The people could choose the one they wanted. Pilate asked, which one do you want me to set free, Barabbas or Jesus? Barabbas, they answered. What should I do with Jesus? Pilate asked. They all answered, crucify him. Why? What wrong has he done? Asked Pilate. But they shouted even louder, crucify him. Pilate saw that he wasn't getting anywhere, so he took water, washed his hands in front of the crowd, and said, I am not guilty of this man's death, he said. Pilate let Barabbas go free. But he had Jesus whipped. They handed him over to be nailed to a cross. So they go to Pilate, and Pilate says, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere with you people. You just want to see this man crucified. So you know what? I'm washing my hands of this. His future is on your hands. If you want to crucify him, so be it. And he let Barabbas go, and he sent Jesus with the Roman soldiers, who then proceeded to mock him, and they beat him up, and just were not at all very nice to him. So that's where we are going to leave off for today. Join me tomorrow for Kids Corner live. Join me tomorrow for Kids Corner live at 3 o'clock for Good Friday. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Remember, Kingdom Kids, God loves you, and so do we. Have a great day.